Welcome back. So in this video, I just want to tell you about an investment that we just sold. We bought this community in 2019. It's a manufactured home community. And in this video, I'm going to tell you 3 reasons we bought the deal, how we found the deal, and really how we bought at the right price, because you always make your money when you buy. In the middle of the video, I'm going to tell you 3 things that almost caused us to lose the deal completely. And then if you stick around towards the end, I'm actually going to reveal the price that we paid initially and then how much we actually just sold it for. So let's get right into the video because I know you want to see and hear some of this interesting stuff. Okay, this community was a 33 space park on the coast in Oregon. And the first thing we did when we bought it was we initially changed the name. It used to be called Surfside Mobile Village. We ended up changing it to Surfside Community. One of the things that we do when we actually take over a community is we look at finding ways not only to enhance the physical aspects of the park, but we really want residents to feel like this is a place that they enjoy living, they're proud of living, and we want to really create a sense of community. And so we changed the name into Surfside Community. And what that does is just kind of changes the whole dynamic of the property. I think the other thing it does is when people look at that, they start to associate, hey, this isn't necessarily a mobile home park. Maybe it's just a, subdivision. No different than a subdivision. The only difference is how the homes are built. So we did that. We also created, repaved the roads. We updated the landscaping. We actually took a home out that was occupying 2 spaces and we put 2 brand new homes in. So we had to go meet with the city. We had to come up with a plan, present it before the board, get it approved. That actually increased our density. So right off the bat, these are things that you want to look at when you're evaluating a property and think about how can we add value to the community? How can we add value to our investment? And then ultimately, those are really the things that are going to drive not only how well you do with that investment, but how excited people are that you took over. Okay, so one of the things we liked about the property when we found it was the ability to increase some of the density. There were also brand new homes that were just put in. So the previous owner had just expanded the park. They put in 4 brand new park model homes. And a park model home is basically just a shorter version of a mobile home, manufactured home. Technically, it's considered an RV, but it's under, I believe it's 50 feet. So that would qualify it as a park model. The number 2 reason we liked it is because of the neighborhood and the area that it was in. It's a very strong economic town. Even though it was smaller on the coast, this was a city that had a lot of different things going for it. Housing was a need. We always felt like this was going to be a desirable community. It was 3 blocks from the beach, so residents can actually walk down to the coast. And we just felt like long term, that was always going to be a place people wanted to be. The third reason we liked the opportunity because a lot of the homes were newer. This had been a well-maintained community, and really it just needed some revitalization into management and operations and various other things. Additionally, we acquired this park as part of a package. The previous owner owned some land that was up on a hill right next to the property. And so what we did was we structured that deal in 2 separate contracts. We carried back the land, or the seller carried back the land rather. This allowed us to go get a loan only on the park. Typically when banks underwrite a property, they're only going to value the income producing property. So getting a loan for the land is going to be really challenging. But we liked it because we knew we could sell that land off and ultimately keep the park, and that's exactly what we did. The way we found this deal was off market. Every opportunity that I've bought and sold personally has been off market. That does not mean that every good deal is off market, okay? There are plenty of good deals that happen on market. The only difference is they're a lot more competitive. And so if you are out there looking for opportunities to buy, you're gonna have a better chance finding ones that aren't as well known, or people aren't like competing on these, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious, but this was off market. I contacted the sellers with a letter. They contacted me. We had a call, and then we proceeded to meet and communicate for the next 2 years, actually. Initially, it was not a deal that I was interested in at the time, but my partner and I, as we communicated, or as we continued to communicate with the sellers, this became an opportunity we got excited about. And as parks have been increasing in value and equity has continued to grow, this was a great opportunity. So we ended up sitting down, we acquired it from them in 2019. And it's been a great investment. Here's 3 reasons why we decided to sell it. Number one, there was a slough, or a creek rather, that ran through the property. Normally, that's not a big issue. The problem with this was the city used that to have divert storm runoff. And so what happened was, during the winter, as rain's coming down, the storm runoff is getting full, the park would actually kind of flood. And so the roads would get basically puddles covering them. And there was really no place for us to divert that water. It was also causing erosion in the back of, the slough where homes were sitting, probably not 5 feet from the edge. And we just felt like long term, we didn't really want to deal with that. We knew there could be problems down the road. And so that was a huge concern for us, not only for having to worry about the erosion piece, but also just from an insurance standpoint. If you're involved in real estate, you know the insurance problem right now is out of control. And the Northwest and West Coast specifically, between fires and other things, it's really causing problems getting insurance. In fact, our carrier had dropped us previously. So that was a big concern for us. Number two, the hillside that I just mentioned, that was directly behind a row of homes. And while there was cover, like ivy and plants that grew along it to really support the integrity of it, we just felt like long term that was like something also that was going to be a concern. Just the looming idea of having this hill, and yeah, like some crazy event could cause a slide, and all of a sudden hills dropping on homes. So again, I think when you're evaluating the long-term viability of holding a property, you really want to look at these things and say like, hey, how is this going to affect insurance? Because right now people are having incredibly tough times renewing their insurance. There's properties that are not even able to qualify for insurance. And so you need to take a hard look at your assets and evaluate them from the standpoint of what are the problems that this could pose us in the future. Okay, and we just felt like, hey, long term, we need to take this equity and put it into a safer asset, because who knows what's going to happen. And the third reason was, on top of that, we were in a tsunami zone. So we're 3 blocks from the beach. And the fact is that Oregon has a tsunami zone. Basically, if they have a huge earthquake off the coast, that could cause a tsunami to obviously flood the coast. And we were right in that path. So it doesn't take, a rocket scientist to figure out like, hey, these are things that we actually need to worry about, and we really don't want to. So we decided to sell, and we ended up selling it to the residents, which is a fantastic win-win for everybody. We knew that they were going to be interested in acquiring the property. If you're not familiar with mobile home parks, they have a nonprofits around the country founded by a company or a nonprofit group called ROC. And ROC helps these communities form co-op grants and some private funding to actually help them acquire the community, which then means they control it and ultimately have pretty much fixed rent increases going forward. And so we knew that was something we wanted to do. We felt like that was the right thing to do. And ultimately, that's what we did. And so we just closed 2 weeks ago. And if you stuck around this far, I'll tell you exactly what we paid for it. In 2019, we ended up buying that property for about $1.4 million. And we just sold it for $2.5 million 5 years later. So win-win for everyone. Now we're in a 1031 exchange, and we're going to look for another opportunity to not only put the equity to work, but also to improve a community and hopefully do the same thing that we did before. So I hope this helps. This gives you some ideas on how to look at a property, how to look at mobile home parks, things that you can do, and also gives you some ideas of things that you need to be concerned about. If you're evaluating your portfolio, you really want to think about long-term viability of the assets that are in it, from the standpoint of what are the things that could cause problems. So if you like it, give it a like and share it with a friend, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.